Hello, and welcome to episode 189 of Dissonant Waves. The regular trio is here, Dominic, Ritz, and Trix. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Bonjour.
This week, we are feeling pretty gamey. Got some video games on the docket. I chose the game Rez, and its soundtrack, and whatever version of Rez. Rez Infinite, Rez HD, the original. And Trix did a Monkey Ball deep dive with kind of Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania, whatever one. Soundtrack, if you want to play it, whatever. And then, unrelated to any of that, Ritz chose the new album by Shady Nasty called Trek.
Yeah, I did.
And, for the kind of hip-hop it is, it doesn't not fit. It fits pretty well.
Yeah.
This week is a vibe.
I'll let you pick where we start. Tricks, actually, I'll let you pick where we start because funnier to assume that I meant Dominic. Just completely disregard his feelings. 10 seconds in.
That's fine.
Why don't we start with the odd man out and start with Shady Nasty?
All right, Shady Nasty, Sydney's best kept secret in terms of live shows. At least it doesn't matter what you think of the album going into that because their live shows have basically been oversold and they've been free. So overselling a free show is already something to do. Like I think I posted in this chat the video of their show that happened at the Lord Gladstone, which if you try to watch it, you can't really listen to it because the camera is so shit. It's very compressed. It's kind of funny actually. But
I love that.
You can see just exactly how cramped it is in there. I can remember being at that show. It was fantastic, but the crowd was definitely trying to mosh with no space to do it. Yeah, I saw people jumping up onto the tables just to try and get a good view, and the staff saying, "No, you can't do that. That's hazard." The tables are very fucking small and like attached to a pole. I remember seeing it at Mary's Underground as well, where that had one of the few times where I've seen a opener have an encore because that's a genuine unplanned encore.
Yeah,
I know you can get a bunch of your headliners go, "Oh, you guys are too kind," but when you have a band that's not the headliner do an encore, that's when you know it's genuinely an unplanned encore.
You ever see a headliner do an encore when it wasn't needed or wanted or warranted?
Needed, wanted, or warranted. So like when no one asked for it,
Yeah,
or no one expected it as well.
no one asked for it.
Yeah, so like, no, I don't think I've seen that just because everybody's like so expecting of an encore these days.
Sure.
No, I haven't seen that, but I've only seen the two unplanned encores with an opener, which were Shady Nasty and 311.
311.
That was the other one. Yeah, they opened at Good Things Festival, so that wasn't a headline slot for them.
Interesting.
I know that's a wild little class for them to be in.
You weren't even on a cruise ship to see them. That's amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically, if you're in Sydney and you've been to a bunch of underground shows, you've seen Shady Nasty. You've been there in the past couple of years, or at least heard of them. They've got that kind of buzz, and it's one of those bands that is just getting a label deal away from kind of breaking out. Here's the debut album. It's a very short 20 minutes adventure. That's the intro.
Yeah.
Me thinking.
Am I crazy in thinking they're named after a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia bit?
They might have been. I actually don't know what a name comes from.
Because I'm pretty sure that Shady Dynasty is the restaurant or the club that Frank opens, and everyone calls it Shady Nasty.
It might be.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Shady Nasty have only been around since apparently they formed in 2015. That skip from Always Sunny would have been before that. So
yeah,
that is entirely possible. Like the first EP was 2017. So
wow,
the name might not have even been cemented till then either. But I'm pretty sure that one's like a very old Always Sunny, like first like 6 seasons.
2011.
Okay.
2011.
From the fifth season.
Fifth season, yeah.
Fifth season, even. Damn. Let me see if I can find the Shady Nasty sign.
Well, meanwhile,
There
my
it
question is, what do you classify this as? Is this like a post mumblecore kind of thing?
This is, yeah, it's a really weird kind of a genre to kind of go into. And you look on Rate Your Music, where I'm on at the moment, and it says genres: post punk, post hardcore, and rap rock. And not a single one of those genres is wrong.
Yeah. But like the person I was thinking of most was like Juice World.
I'm trying to make the connection to that, and I don't agree. I don't agree.
Like I keep like, especially like the Stan Atlantic cover that we covered a while ago, like it's more intense, but like there's something about the instrumentation and just like the way it's
Well,
done.
yeah, the Stan Atlantic one's closer in a sense, when I still think it's far away, but I'm starting to get a bit more what you're into, what you're meaning there as well. You know, it's got that kind of trinkly guitar happening, whilst there's the whole a more like intense kind of rapping, I guess, that's happening into this.
But
It's hard to even really call it rapping as well. Is the thing. It doesn't feel fast enough to be that.
but it's also mixed in a way that feels very removed, very kind of like it doesn't feel as intense as it is.
Yeah, it's a lot more intense seeing it live, just because I feel the vocals and just the way that it's done is a lot heavier. Not in the sense of just how it's mixed or anything, but it does go in a different register to make it a bit more angrier than it is on the studio, which it creates a bit of a difference between studio and live. So I can't really compare too much when those are two different ways of listening. But it's a hard thing to kind of describe without listening, in a sense. But
Yeah.
it's not so removed from anything that you've heard that it's so like, oh, this is some avant-garde masterpiece or anything. It's not us going straight from regular pop to claustrophobia pop. It's like a natural evolution of the sounds going here. Like you've heard all the mix and mashes of this individual, but I don't think you've heard much out there that's used these genres in such a way as this band has. It's not to say that it doesn't exist out there. In fact, I've heard other bands that I've seen live, which won't say the names of, because I personally found those bands to be quite underwhelming when I saw them live, that do have a very similar vibe to this. And I found kind of like talking about this sound over the past year personally, I found that it's a sound that really kind of it really borders the line of cringe and well executed.
Really?
Because it does, well, it feels, in a sense, this is a sound that's quite easy to mess up and just sound full of yourself.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
you wouldn't get it straight from Shady Nasty, because they are on the well executed side.
Interesting. I didn't consider it like that.
It's one of those, like, you have to listen to a lot of the other bands that do have to have a similar style of this to get what I mean.
Well,
And to be fair, Shady Nasty have a more distinct kind of production happening to them as well, which does differentiate them from the crowd as well.
sure.
And I'm not going to mention names of the other bands in here. You haven't listened to them anyway, so it's not like it's going to be a comparison that's worth doing when there's something just shitting on some artists that I say I think these ones are kind of crap. But that's the best way I can actually describe, I guess the sound.
Yeah, there's a level of like intensity, but a level of like removal, but like it feels both kind of placid but also kind of like a fever dream in a way.
Surreal,
Yeah, surreal.
And I think that's why it works. Surprisingly works with what we're doing here, because I mean, especially if you look at the music videos done for this album as well, they've been quite glitchy. And compare that to Rez in a way, I think that's where you kind of get, okay, that's where the vibes kind of start to match up.
Yeah.
For this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a full triangle completed. It's more like a V.
And also to keep in mind for those who are not aware of this band, this is an 8-song album, and the first single of it I think came out in like 2021 or 2022, and then the second came out in 2023, and then the third came out in 2024, and then the fourth came out early this year. So like by the time this album was released, I think So let's just do the quick check on this before I make an ass of myself with the numbers, because I shouldn't get any numbers wrong when it is only an 8 song. So no, I am right. There wasn't a single. Yep. So half of this album was released as singles over like a 3 to 4 year period.
Yeah, and then the other half is going to be another 6 or 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
So for people who are familiar with the band or seen them live, you don't actually have that much new material here, especially since they've been playing a lot of these songs for the past couple of years, and some of them have been out for years.
There's also a good amount of EPs and stuff too to draw on. At least.
Oh yes, yeah. It's not like this band doesn't have a discography at the moment. They definitely have. Well, it's probably like an hour long in total, admittedly. But they do have a discography that they go through and play. You know, you can get different sets and stuff like that. This isn't just like, oh, finally we got all the new Shady Nasty and not much, and like, oh, now we still don't have Shady Nasty music. But yeah, it's kind of been a weird, slow release cycle that I guess they've had over the span of this band's career.
Yeah, I mean, every band does it differently, right? Like there are some bands that have it like super together, have it super syncopated, and like, oh man, we're releasing singles here and here and here, and some are like, yeah, one here, one there, we got it.
Yeah,
we've done the background. I guess it's time to actually talk about this album now.
Yeah, like it's interesting. It's one of those that's like this is different than what I was expecting. This is interesting. I don't know if it's gonna be like super like on my mind the entire year, but I did enjoy what it was.
Personally, I found it's because I come in with a different experience now, having listened to a bunch of these songs a lot longer, while this is all everything has come to YouTube for the first time here. A lot of the early stuff I found, or just the band sound, was a real grower on me. Like I did enjoy the Bad Posture EP when it came out in 2020. But it didn't hit as hard in my brain as I thought it would. And then songs like G-Shock and Hardstyle, which have been out for a bit, took a bit for it to kind of register. In my head, it's like, is this catchy or is this good or what it is and stuff like that. I feel like because of its kind of, I guess, uniqueness in a way, because it is a unique album, but I also try and put out uniqueness and stuff. This isn't like one of those ones that I think this is going to spawn a new genre.
No, it reminds me of when we were getting introduced to rave tapes.
Yeah, in a sense. Although I don't think they're going to go down that same path of where they are starting to become a bit more accessible with their sound, which doesn't mean that the quality goes down either.
No, there's change.
Sound, yeah. On that, so. I feel like it's one of those ones that it will either stick with you or you will just never remember it again. I don't think there will be that moment where you just suddenly, like after 3 years, go, oh yeah, I remember Shady Nasty.
It's one of those things that I feel like is described as like, it's a vibe. You either got to vibe with it or you don't. Like, if you're looking to be critical, there's a lot of auto-tuned vocals. There's some like mumbly rap if you are looking for it. You know, it sounds like a lot of things that people like to criticize about like the modern music landscape, if that's the way you want to go with it. But that's
what I mean by borders on the line of cringe as well.
Right, but this is clearly trying to do something else than just like throw some tracks together, mumble your way through it, and whatever. Like there is a craft, there is something going on here. I don't know exactly what it is, but I can tell there's something.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I find that the strongest parts of this album, the first half of this album, obviously when it gets into the AE86 interlude, that kind of loses me a little bit there. I mean, Cared Brass sticks out in the second half of the album as the only track that I really care about on it.
Interesting, because for me it was like a gradual build up to like Cared Brass in 2008.
But yeah, I found like it's a sound that they are still doing different things with it and stuff like that. So it's not like I can use the line, "Oh, it's just a blender now here," and they just copied their tracks again for the later half of the album, which they absolutely haven't. I just feel like they're just songs that are personally just kind of lost in the sauce
Sure.
of the album, and they don't really have
Mhm.
as much reason to exist. And this is one of those albums that, despite its short length, I feel like this would make like a really strong case of being EP of the year if it was like an EP's length and not.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's for me. There was nothing super dipping. It was more of a like, it's lulling you into a sense of what it is. It's lulling you into being accepting, and then as you start to listen more and more, it kind of overwhelms you a little bit more with what's actually going on. Like you were saying, it's probably one of those things you just kind of got to listen to quite a bit and just kind of spend time with it. Because like, if you try to like decipher what the lyrics are going on about, like there's definitely stuff happening in the lyrics, like beyond just like intensity and vocal intonation and inflection and all that. But
I can't tell you what every song about is, but I know Cared Bra is basically reflecting on a friendship where the other person's kind of turned into somebody that no longer really want friends with in separate ways. I know previous songs like in their previous EP stuff like Get Buff would be basically talking about how he had all these self-confidence issues, basically being an Asian in Australia.
Oh, interesting.
And feeling out of place, and starting to get into trying to go into cultures like gym culture and stuff, and all Get Buff stuff. I think G-Shock even kind of follows some of those vibes. The lyrics I'm getting from that, I don't think it's the same, exact same, but I think it has that kind of whole like kind of whole culture thing on there. And I know Ked Bro does have one of my favorite lyrics at the Mrs. Mac parking fine, chuck them both in the microwave, which I don't think even if you know what a Mrs. Mac is, but I could be wrong. I don't. Pretty sure that's the straight thing. That's just a pie franchise. It's like a frozen pie.
Huh. Okay.
Like
interesting
meat pies and stuff. Because I also got to remember you two probably don't eat meat pies that much, do you?
There is a meat pie restaurant not far from me, actually. I went there
once. We
once.
have like the frozen chicken pot pies over here.
I went there once. I got a lamb pie. Well, I think it's just called a shepherd's pie. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm just talking about a classic beef pie or beef and cheese pie is usually the classic one we all go for now.
Mine was.
You're gonna have to drop a pick.
Mine was underwhelming. My roommate at the time, he liked his. I do want to go back and try more.
But this is just stuff that you can get at basically any bakery in Australia.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
That's the common, like Mrs. Mac itself, no, but like that's the kind of culture. So when you're saying like a Mrs. Mac pie or something like that, it's usually something that you can associate with like a tradie lunchtime break.
Is that like an usual like tradie kind of meal? It's just like a meat pie.
Yeah, meat pie from the server or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
G-Shock also has one of the great lines of set my sights on some Diet Coke and some fried rice. The faster the food, the thicker the wife.
Okay.
All right.
And there's also other references. Like it's when you go into some of the lyricism on this as well, it is quite unashamedly Sydney.
Yeah.
There's on Hardstyle, there's the line 2194, be the home, be the best, which is a reference to the postcode of Campsie. That is a suburb in the inner west of Sydney. Got to get some fucking other ones up as I'm trying to remember them all on top of my head. Excuse me as I embarrass myself. Oh, Screwdriver's got references to basically just speeding down the highways of New South Wales. So M5 down the Hume, those are just highways.
Okay.
I mean, like when you're talking about highways and road stuff, like that's pretty common in like a lot of music. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it's not stuff out there you can say. I mean, you can go to enough American music out there. There's references to highways and stuff like that. Or we can go back to pop actually. There's some DVP which stands for Don Valley Parkway.
Yes.
It's just another road.
I mean, there's
a whole... Kraftwerk probably had 100 songs about the Autobahn.
Yeah, take any song off the Cars soundtrack.
I mean, Sufjan Stevens made the BQE. which is the Brooklyn Queens Expressway in New York, for example.
That's probably about as much as I got to say about Shady Nasty. It's a short album, so
Yeah.
there wasn't ever going to be too much
Yeah.
to say. They weren't ever going to put up this big magnum opus that was an hour and a half long that goes through every
Can you
single
imagine?
genre that's ever existed. No, I can't imagine it because honestly, it's actually still doing quite a bit in 20 minutes. So that would be
Yeah.
quite a fucking bit.
I'd imagine like them putting out an album like a Pizza Death album, and it's like I guess you could do a Pizza Death album that's like 30 tracks and like an hour long or whatever. But like, should you? Do you have to? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Favorites, least favorites.
Trix, did you ever say how you really felt about it?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really feel too much about it. I listened to it a couple times. I couldn't really listen to this at work.
That's not kitchen music.
It is not. I listened to it on the bus. And it's not great bus music either, but
It's probably good.
It's okay.
Probably good bedroom music, like when you're just in your feelings.
Probably, but I already got soundtracks for that.
Fair.
Favorites of this, the opener G-Shock, no chains on my body, no chains on my body, no signs in my vitals, no signs, is just a hell of a fucking opener, especially every time they fucking play it live. That's always basically instantly just, like, they used to start with it. The last time I saw it, they didn't start with it, which kind of, I feel like it's always a missed opportunity. It's just a perfect opener to any fucking set when they do it. Hard style, Cared Brass, Screwdriver, and I've just picked already the four singles of it, but they were the right fucking choices of singles. Least favorite, putting aside the kind of whole intro thing, I think it's IDWL. I don't want to lose.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like G-Shock, and I like how for me it kind of ends really strong with Carrot Bra in 2008. My least favorite is probably something like IDWL as well. Just, like in the 80, 86, like, do you need to have like a little interlude thing in this short of an album? Like, you can, but do you need to?
Favorites for me, probably just 2008. No release favorite, bit of a blender for me.
That car's getting
Now
a
we're
good
talking
wash.
about video games.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, this is really just to talk about Sega at this point.
Yeah. Which
Do we even
have
really
we
have
talked
to
about
say,
how much
like,
we love Sega?
I'm gonna ask this question for you two since you both picked it. Do we really need to do one at a time for this? They're both Dreamcast, if I'm correct.
No.
I mean, Monkey Ball was GameCube, but it was the same era.
Yeah, but they're both on Dreamcast.
Monkey Ball was not on
No.
Dreamcast.
Monkey Ball was on the Naomi architecture though, which was like a souped up Dreamcast.
Yeah, Naomi Architecture was the arcade board that they used that would convert to Dreamcast pretty easily. But Monkey Ball never came to Dreamcast. It only came to GameCube after the arcades.
Yes.
But realistically, we're talking about. I mean, I know Rez is a lot more of a rhythm game than Super Monkey Ball, but we're talking about what is both, in a sense, just video game music.
But video game music, specifically from, I think, like one of the companies that did it the best at their creative peak.
Yes.
Like 2001,
Absolutely.
Sega is like the end of the Dreamcast. Everything is falling apart. We got to make these games. They got to be cool. They got to be interesting. They got to be simple. And there's like a whole vibe. There's like a whole style. And like seeing like both of these games and how they kind of changed and evolved over time is really interesting.
Well, video game music, just in general, from full stop, has always been an interesting case. When we talk about what are our favorite moments of like video games and stuff like that, as someone who comes up as from the kind of whole rhythm game and Tony Hawk and stuff like that, my favorites have always been the license, which is a bit of a shame because you go back to stuff of even Super Mario Brothers in the 8-bit having probably one of the most iconic opening sounds that you could have to a game.
Yeah.
And this is definitely an era when you think of all those times. Like, you think about games like GTA or, like the whole Watch Dogs and Need for Speed. I don't know, I'll put the Need for Speed more in a second. I'll talk about a GTA more, that where the soundtrack kind of feels second nature. Like, it's there because they want to make everything, that kind of bit more realistic. In that sense, like they're actually driving in a car with an actual radio and play like
Yeah.
Saints Row and like that.
Mhm.
There are cool licensed songs that are happening in that, but yeah, when I think of Fiddler's No Waves, which is in Saints Row 4, I don't think Saints Row 4. It was just in there.
Yeah.
Whilst you think of like a Body Jar, not the same. You think of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Yeah, like there's so many tracks that are
Yeah.
associated with so many different games that are just like, oh, I know Ace of Spades because of that one game. I know this song because of that other game. Like how
So,
many
yeah.
like fucking Get Low is burned in my brain because of Need for Speed Underground.
And this is a thing that doesn't just stay at the licensed music. It's a case of the full original soundtracks that come into there. You can be instantly transported to a game or other memory to something that happens.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was a genuine feels like an art form to just the soundtrack of video games at a certain period of time. And when I talk about the Tony Hawk's, I'll count some of the Need for Speed. So I think some of them they're a bit of an afterthought and stuff like. I think it's Underground 2. I think was the one that a lot of people say is like the best Need for Speed licensed soundtrack. Yeah, these are all in a very similar time period. I know they're like after these games, but not.
I mean, it's worth mentioning
Yeah.
that GTA 3 was released in between these games. Like,
Yes.
Monkey Ball was September on GameCube, GTA 3 was October, and then Rez was November. So, like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
right there.
Yeah, you forget how long GTA has been out for.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I think it's interesting to talk about these because, unlike a licensed soundtrack, like, aspects of these are definitely licensed because they work with external producers and, recruit talent to like make tracks for them. It's a little different in that like it's made for the game and not like on its own necessarily. But it's interesting because at least in Rez's case, Rez is a game about like how sound changes and like interacting with the sound. It's a rail shooter, but it's like you as the player are like interacting with the beat. Every shot you make, every time you aim, it creates sound. It like goes on the beat. And you're kind of conducting your own little symphony and kind of getting the experience as it's happening.
There is a game that I definitely expected this to be like when we went into this. I'm going to ask if you've ever played any of them in the series, Dominic or Trix. Have you played Bit Trip?
No, I know what they are, but
I played like 15 minutes of Bit Trip.
It is, in that whole sense of what the outcome of the gameplay is, the exact same as Rez.
I mean, I can very much imagine it being inspired by Rez for sure.
Oh, yeah.
While we're talking about Rez right now, I'm interrupting Ritz because I spent $100 on this.
You didn't have to. You didn't have. No one asked you to do this. Trix.
No one asked me to do this. I'm just doing bits this year. But I figured I would experience Rez in the way that the game makers intended. And so, if you don't know, Rez on the PS2 shipped with an additional vibrator.
A vibration controller, as they called it.
Yes.
Which I want to
But
point
it
out
was-
before we get into the next part, Trix, that stuff like DualShock and vibration and controllers has become quite the norm. So
Yes, it has.
this
but
is
I
this is
still
stuff that is
the-
ahead of the time.
It is ahead of the time, but still, you don't really see external vibration controllers in that sense.
No,
Given that Rez is
You
like
have
a
stuff
very,
like HD Rumble.
given that
I
Rez
am
is a
still
very,
waiting. I'll let you go first, sorry, Dominic.
given that Rez is a very synesthetic game, the rumble is meant to help you feel closer to the music. It's enhancing the sound. It's enhancing the movement. It's making you in tune with everything. So that's why the 360 version has like a thing where you can pair a bunch of different controllers and have them all vibrate at the same time. The Rez Infinite, you can get a suit you can wear to feel the vibration.
And I would like to mention that I bought a butt plug.
Yes.
And my initial discovery that it was quite the opposite. It was too distracting.
I mean, I can imagine.
It wasn't even like arousing in any way. Like it was just like, oh, that's rumbling down in there. Okay.
Well, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
Is it though? Is it? I mean, I've enjoyed stuff up my butt.
Fair enough. I don't claim to know the ins and outs, but
But I do, hey.
I mean,
And so does Rez.
And look, I know Rez is currently the only game to have the kind of external vibration peripheral to be packaged with it. But one day, and I'm still waiting for it, we should get a physical release of the Meat and Fuck games. And when that happens,
oh boy. I mean,
Uh,
but I think the thing that's interesting about Rez is the layering of music and like the way it like the soundtrack evolves with each level. Like each level is broken down into like 10 or more different sections that you can kind of go between each section from one to the next at your leisure. You can skip some, you can go at them at the pace given by the game. And as you do, the soundtrack evolves with it. And the soundtrack that is like on Spotify, the Rez Infinite soundtrack, the first half is just kind of like those tracks more or less condensed down to what they are. Like when you mash all the levels together, like the original sound, the original song is more or less this.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting, like an interesting way to like reflect the game, and that it's like it's different, but it's giving you a taste. But I think playing Rez as a game and like experiencing the tracks as they're meant to be played is definitely more exciting, interesting.
Definitely.
well, apparently it wasn't exciting enough for Trix.
I mean, like you just weren't letting yourself relax. It was really what it was.
I was trying to.
You're
Trix, I think Dominic is the expert in this area. Do not argue with him.
You're like, I got to do this for the podcast. I spent so much money on this. Oh my god.
Well, not even that. Like it's kind of hard to like sit back and relax when you got a plug up there.
I mean, it can be
You're just
done.
putting pressure on it. Like I needed the donut I had when I broke my tailbone.
Gotcha. I see. Yeah, I wonder how you would have done if you were doing it in VR. Because I played Rez Infinite in VR. I set up with my PSVR and did it.
You know what?
I
don't
could
think
have
out
done
of any
that.
of us.
I could have done that too.
I don't think out of any of us the one to create a Goon Cave would have been Trix, but here we go.
Okay. I can actually do it in VR with the plug at some point.
You don't have to.
Maybe this will
Putting
be a
that out there.
Patreon thing.
You don't have to. I mean, do what you want. You can if you want to, but like, you don't have to.
How about we
Is
take
that-
a detour and talk about Monkey Ball?
There's still stuff I want to talk
That's what
about
I
with
was-
Rez, but if you want to,
And I just want to.
Let's just pivot the topic away from my ass right now.
I just gotta make sure that we're all in agreement first off that at no point during these exercises that you're doing to yourself, Trix, do you ever point out or say something like, "This is for you guys." Just want to make sure.
I have never said
Yeah, well-
anything like that.
I'm gonna keep it that way.
This one's for you, Ritz.
you know what? I'd be fine with it. Do it. Do whatever you want. But Monkey Ball.
Rez, let's finish up Rez.
Rez, okay.
Yeah.
I like this game a lot. This game came to me when I was like a teenager and kind of formulating my opinions on things, and this game really hit me at a good time because it's simple. It can be hard if you're getting used to it, but it's just like 5 levels. The Infinite version has a little bit more, and Area X itself is really fucking something. Because instead of being on rails, Area X is more of like a more free form. You're kind of floating in space, going through the level yourself. It's a little. It's interesting to see how Rez would have evolved if it had like been popular enough to get a proper sequel.
Yeah.
But like the way the soundtrack just interacts with the game is just like a whole other level because there's so much that goes into like the visuals and how like the particle effects and everything are like, you know, giving you that eye candy to move forward and do your thing and do all the shooting, and it's like, okay, the soundtrack is backing that up. And it's like making it so fucking intense that like once you turn it off, it's like I am just shooting, and it's going to be fine. It creates a whole tension. It creates a whole just thing on its own, and like the soundtrack being as dynamic as it is like key to making that work. And the game just looks fucking cool.
I didn't play this game at all ever in my life. I did watch the videos that Dominic sent though, because I said, yeah, I do have to watch gameplay of this, so it's not gonna happen the other way. And It is very fucking confusing to watch. Just gonna put that out there. Without
It's
knowing what the
confusing
hell
to
it
play.
is. I can assume that as well, but it'd be less confusing when you know what
I mean,
you're doing, at least in some sense.
there is a tutorial. It does kind of teach you how to go through it, but it's so really.
You expect me to read?
Actually, they literally will play a video for you and tell you how to do everything.
Yeah, Trix was adjusting herself.
Yeah, I had a butt plug up my ass.
So, like I said, it's an on-rail shooter. You're just aiming your reticle. You're aiming around the screen, whether it's in VR or with an analog stick. You are either pressing the X or the A button to hold down, and then firing, like with letting go. You can hold up to I think 8 charges at once, and it'll let go. And like I said, it all just goes to the music. So you can kind of do it. You can want to do just like little spritz. And because every time you press the A button, it also claps on a bunch of the tracks. So every time you hear a clap, you're just fucking mashing the A or the X button over and over and over. And it's always fun too.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta there's one dude you gotta shoot 8 or 10 times. That'll bring you to the next part of the level. And then there's more enemies. And it's a fairly simple, straightforward. It's kind of like Star Fox, Panzer Dragoon, all that stuff. And, for me, this one, I played Star Fox as a kid. I didn't really care about it as much. But this one I like because it was presenting it in a way that made sense to me. It's there's an experience here. There's something that it doesn't feel like a rip-off because it's so short. It's like an art piece.
Yeah.
But I can totally see how it'd be confusing just watching it with no context.
This is also with both of these soundtracks, I can't give a favorite or a least favorite. Blender is a wild term we use daily on this podcast, and with video game music, that is definitely a huge case to always do, because shocker, you are soundtracking the background of something. It is always going to be very similar styles that happen. It's a very thematic thing. Now, that's not to say that every song sounds the same or anything like that. That is completely incorrect. And I think with Rez, actually, is one of the biggest cases of songs don't sound the same. It goes from... It is all in this EDM style, but you got it from that kind of big groove, orchestral kind of stuff that keeps building up to... I think it was Adam Freeland's track, actually, on it. That was... It was very ravey, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, there's no favorite or least favorite. It's all still, in a sense, kind of just so start to finish on this. It's on Spotify. It's nearly 2 hours of listening, so it is tiresome by the end of it. I know a lot of them are very similar versions of each other, but it's kind of hard to say what really works the best without having played this game.
Sure.
And that's a big reason. That's a big part. I know, this is a very audio podcast. There was no visuals except the one little artwork that we have on these. But a main thing that makes video game music good is the visuals that it has. I've tried my best to see what I can with Rez on it, and to a sense, the visuals do work. But I'm also very confused by all of it. Scared, and Mum, hug me, please. Mum, come pick me up. I'm scared.
I will say, I think level 5, the Adam Freeland track, is one of my favorite levels in video games, period. I think the way it builds and builds and builds is just phenomenal. The layering, the different sounds, just how it comes together. There's something really beautiful about the way, it just tells the story of, humanity and evolution in, a very abstract way. There's a whole story with Rez. It doesn't super matter right now to talk about it because it's more of a setting, a little place setting. But, it's cyber, it's futuristic, it's, a lot of the same things that those stories tend to be about.
Yeah.
That said, I do think the Adam Freeland track on the soundtrack is a horrible representation of what the track actually is in the game. You kind of condensed it down, but you've really sacrificed the soul of it.
Yeah, I get you.
But, yeah, that level... if Rez was just that level, I would be happy. I'm happy there's more to play, but, my god. That level, for me, is just such a rush.
Fair enough.
I had to talk about favorites or least favorites. I mean, in the game, it's the Adam Freeland track. Out of the game, it is the Area X stuff, the stuff from Rez Infinite, the Butterfly Effect tracks, Starlight Infinite. Those songs like are more modern IDM. They're really beautiful. They're really interesting. A lot more in the ravey direction for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Trix, how far did you get?
I did finish the game, but I only did the first level plugged up.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember much of the game because I play it when I get home from work and I'm delirious.
Fair enough.
So it has kind of like this ethereal quality in my head.
Which, is not a bad way to think about it, really.
No.
It is a game.
Like it's a magical experience that I feel like if I play it again, I might be disappointed in what I remembered.
It is a game that is almost designed for you to like be on something while playing it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of colors and lights and pulsating stuff and sounds and whatever else.
And I was on prostate stimulation.
Oh. Anyway.
Monkey Ball.
Also in 2001, there was Super Monkey Ball.
I fucking love Super Monkey Ball. Did you guys listen to just the Banana Mania soundtrack, or did you listen to both?
I listened to both, but I mainly listened to Banana Mania.
Gotcha, because I did the opposite.
Interesting. I've also
the original soundtrack hits just so fucking hard. Like it is legitimately like Super Monkey Ball 2 is like one of the best soundtracks of all time, if you ask me.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think that the Banana Mania remixes are cool. And I think they actually do a really good job of doing their own thing, but there's just something about the originals. It might just be nostalgia, but
yeah, I don't hear the dubstep you were talking about.
Well, it's in some of the later tracks. You can hear like some there's like wubs even.
Okay.
Which track was it? Let me pull up the track list. But yeah, I think it's a good modernization in a way that like it keeps the spirit of the soundtrack while also giving it a fresh coat of paint in a way.
Well,
for Banana Mania.
I'm gonna disappoint you and make you happy at the same time. I kind of didn't finish the Banana Mania one, but I did listen to the full deluxe of the old stuff.
Hell yes.
And yeah,
what did you think?
I think you're right. The old stuff just sounds better. I think the new stuff's too new produced.
I mean,
the new.
You know what I'm compared to? Sonic Generations, where that has the classic versions of the tracks, but then they've also made like in some of it remixes of it.
Yeah.
And the big one that I can think of is the City Escape, where the City Escape remix is still kind of cool with how it's done, but you just can't beat that fucking first one.
No, and like Banana Mania, like there's like 10 or 12 new tracks, and then it reverts back to the old stuff. I'm like, yes, this is what I know.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I will say a real highlight for me on the Banana Mania soundtrack, though, is the billiards theme.
Okay, yeah.
How it just goes into like this real jazzy thing. But I think it also shows that Sega still knows how to do music.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes Sega's music interesting is that it's somewhat sci-fi and futuristic. It's somewhat jazzy. It's somewhat like light Muzak in a way. Like there's generally just a whole vibe. And like the Sonic Adventure soundtrack that we did, Sonic Adventure 2, it's not exactly like that, but if you listen to it, you can definitely hear some of that stuff in Super Monkey Ball for sure.
Which on that, have we all seen Sonic 3 yet?
No.
Yes.
I know I should. But
Domino, do you want to mute your audio while Ritz and I talk Sonic 3?
Just talk Sonic 3. I don't give a shit.
Dominic's gonna record anyway.
Spoil me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
They don't use fucking Pumpkin Hill.
They don't.
Disappointing.
In fact,
they do Live and Learn though.
Yeah, they use Live and Learn, which is great. But they reference
I actually almost cried when that song came on, not gonna lie.
They reference the no airplane food moment, and then it doesn't go into City Escape. That's like, I remember when Sonic hops out of the helicopter, has that fucking like no airplane food. I'm like, oh my god, it's about to play, and it's like, I think it's just like a license.
Does he spin through the air on his board that he made out of a airplane part?
He did
It was
not.
not it was not the helicopter blade, wasn't it, Richard?
But like the helicopter was still flying, so how does that work?
I don't
Yeah,
know, I thought
he
it was like the
ripped
helicopter
he
blade.
ripped the door off or something
The
like
door
off the
off, yeah.
wing.
Yeah, something like that.
Nah, that doesn't happen in this one.
There is a reference to the Sonic licking or the Shadow licking Latinas meme though.
And also, fucking Shadow only uses his gun once. Come on.
Well, he didn't have a gun in
Yeah.
Adventure 2 to begin with.
Yeah, but it's like, if he's got the gun, why does he only use it once? Just has a
I was
gun,
hoping
uses
for
it
I
once,
was
and forgotten
hoping for a
first.
where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
And I was hoping for the Bio Lizard.
Ah, the Bio Lizard. If only.
Yeah.
I'm too scared about that.
Another game from 2001, Sonic Adventure 2.
Live and learn.
I'm telling you, Sega was fucking on fire that year.
They were.
Sonic
Remember
Adventure
when they
2.
got sued for by D-Light. Forgot what
Space Channel 5.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's the same crew that made Rez, but before Rez was Space Channel 5.
I think I own that.
I have considered talking about Space Channel 5 because that also has Michael Jackson in it.
I think I only have this Space Channel 5 2, now that I
Yeah.
think about it. Was there
Yeah,
a
the one
sequel
that's
to
in
it?
the one that's in the collection.
Yeah, 2 is in the
Yeah.
collection, except the PS2 has both, and the Dreamcast only got the first one, at least in North America. Everywhere else, I think it has 2. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Jackson's more in part 2 than part 1 for sure.
All right.
But that only came part 2 only came out a few months after Rez also. So like again, just fucking within a year, they were just on some shit.
Hell yes.
Like I wish there were more game developers doing stuff like Sega was at this time, even though they ultimately failed. It wasn't because of the lack of creativity, it was just because they chose so many wrong decisions making the Dreamcast.
Which is unfortunate.
Yes, no DVD player. The graphics were good, but not, they could have been better. The online was cool, but everyone was still kind of doing dial-up, I feel like.
I feel like they had the ad market cornered. I just found this one on Twitter earlier.
Is it the Fred Durst one? No.
No, it's another one.
Blink 182. Excellent.
Yeah, the Pee and Poop Band.
But back to Monkey Ball. Ritz, what is your history of Monkey Ball?
None.
How have you not played Monkey Ball?
I've never owned a monkey.
I hope you've owned balls.
Only a couple. But I might have been super one time.
I see.
No, actually, no, sorry. Yeah, I'm 0 for 3.
I played Super Monkey Ball as a kid, so I was there. I didn't really realize how the game functioned as like a game. I knew that there was easy, medium, and hard, but I didn't realize that the points would actually matter and shit like that.
Yeah.
So playing it now, I was trying to beat it this time. I didn't quite get there. I'm still trying to get through expert, but
I've beaten expert a few times. I've even beaten extra expert.
Oh my god!
But I have not beaten master yet.
Which game?
Deluxe.
Okay, I've heard that Deluxe they made some of the levels a little easier,
and some are actually a little harder too.
Interesting. It's I am playing Vanilla Monkey Ball 1 on the GameCube mostly here, and it is so fucking hard. Holy shit.
Well, the PS2 version of Deluxe was one of the very first games I got for my PS2 when I was 4.
Wow.
That and American Wasteland.
Jesus Christ. What a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Monkey Ball within a couple years of getting a GameCube. I was pretty young. That makes sense.
But yeah, I fucking love Monkey Ball. It is one of the best skill games.
Oh my god, there's so much skill involved. I
Yeah.
need to beat expert mode. I'm not going to be happy with myself until I beat expert mode at some point.
You just need to become a devotee of the balls.
Yes, and I will probably get there. I just gotta, play some other games first, really get my mind thinking about it, and then just come back and just like devote. One of my favorite childhood memories is learning about the secret of Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
You don't control the monkey, you control the board.
Yeah.
I like it took me a long time to realize that. I remember like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's like those marble tilt puzzles.
Yeah.
Like the big wooden ones, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. But like you're so close to the action that it feels like you're supposed to be controlling the monkey, but you're not.
Yeah. Like you do kind of control the walk speed a little bit.
Yeah. But that's also that could be from the tilting, whatever. There's good science your way around that.
Yeah, there's like if you tilt it very slightly, you'll walk forward.
So you're an expert monkey ball player. I'm guessing you play as Baby.
Only on the mini games does Baby really get an advantage.
I've heard that because Baby is so small, like just playing as Baby in general is better for seeing.
Oh, it is for for like this very like thin platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, mostly on my replay, I was playing on Banana Mania, and I was playing as the Dreamcast.
Hell yeah!
Because I paid for the DLC that lets you play as the Genesis, the Game Gear, and the Dreamcast. For some reason, they didn't think to add the Saturn.
Yeah, Sega's never quite perfect with going back to their past.
No, and the Saturn has easily one of the best controllers of all time.
Yes. A controller that, frankly, would be really cool for playing Monkey Ball.
It probably would.
I learned this time about the extra stages.
Yes.
I was shocked. As someone who has touched this game many, many times, I never got good enough a beginner to unlock the extra stages until now.
No. Yeah, I didn't beat them until I was in, like, college.
And then getting through normal mode was like a victory in itself, I feel like, after a while.
Definitely.
Like, oh man, that fucking last level where all the little platforms are going around in a circle, holy shit.
I could do normal mode as a kid, I remember. Not to keep flexing, but like I love Monkey Ball.
And expert, like I got like halfway through expert mode. I remember the last level I completed was like one where the wall is like shimmying back and forth, and you gotta like go down the center and kind of like tilt between the edge of the beam with the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's such a really fucking precise command to do.
Oh, it is all about precision. There's this like great video that's like there's one bonus level where it's nearly impossible to get all the bananas.
I can't even imagine getting all the bananas in these levels. Holy shit.
Well, this is one of the bonus levels where you have to get like all 50 to finish the level.
Okay.
And because they like go down a ramp and then take off.
Yeah.
And like it took like 13 years for documented proof of somebody getting all 50 bananas.
Oh my god. And do you remember when I shared the video of Dan Macy playing Monkey Ball, right?
Yes.
I very distinctly remember them trying to do one of the cheats in one of the earlier levels to get to the end point and like skip half the level.
Yes.
And I definitely tried that a few times. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be easier just to fucking do the level.
Yep. A lot of the times it's just easier to do the level than to do one of the secret exits.
And also, like, the actual secret exits that you see in the fucking game are in, like, the most fucking impossible places.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is it, red shoots you to 5 levels up? What does green shoot you to? Or is it the other way around?
I think red is 5 levels and green is, like, 3.
Okay.
So I'm just,
I never really go for them,
to
I'll be
remind
honest.
Trix of a classic, not to give attention to Twitter, but a classic treat for Monkey Ball here.
Oh yeah, I wish I could be hyped for the Nintendo Switch too, but I'm more of a Sega bottom. I fucking love Monkey Ball tweets. Shout out Monkey Ball tweet on Twitter.
I really wish Monkey Ball was on the Dreamcast. I think it would have been perfect for it.
God, yeah.
Like, it's cool that it was on the GameCube and it launched and everything, but like, I feel like, especially since Rez came after and was also on Dreamcast as well as PS2, we got robbed.
We did.
Like, it wouldn't have mattered in the end. The Dreamcast would have just had one more game, but still. Also, the Dole branding. What a fucking weird piece of history that is.
There is a direct line from fun Super Monkey Ball gameplay to wars in Central America.
Banana Republics.
Yep.
Oh god. But the soundtrack, like, was it every 5 levels it's a new song?
Every 10.
Every 10.
At least that's what it was on story mode, I remember.
Okay.
Because I mostly played story mode as a kid, and I have like a big memory of the story mode. And I don't really remember the story too much, and I skip it every time I play the Banana Mania because it's not the same as they do it as like comic book cutscenes now as opposed to like the rendered things they were.
There was a story mode in Deluxe.
Yes, and in 2, I want to say.
Monkey Ball 1 has no story mode. It's just normal mode, main game.
Did you fuck with any of the? Sorry, just an aside, but did you fuck with any of the mini games?
I did as a kid a little bit. I do want to go back.
I have a real soft spot for Monkey Golf. It's just a real weird mini golf game where it's you launch monkeys in balls as the golf ball.
Yeah, they did billiards, bowling, and golf.
Yes,
and that's pretty fucking amazing that they took all the time to do that.
And the race theme is fantastic.
Yes, the race theme was on the soundtrack as well. That was pretty good.
But I could sing the praises of Monkey Ball all day.
And you will.
Yes.
As the first game that Sega put on a Nintendo home console, Monkey Ball is indeed important. Just as Rez, I think, was the first one to get on a PlayStation 2.
Gotcha, yeah. Monkey Ball. A couple bucket list items for me are, one, the banana joystick version of Super Monkey Ball Arcade, and the trackball version.
Yeah, the banana version seems really cool.
Yeah, you're just using a banana as the joystick. It's really just simple as that, but it looks so cool. And I want to try it with a trackball because it's got to be an entirely different game.
Oh man, that sounds really neat. Because I mean, Marble Madness, I think, had a trackpad back in the day, like a trackball.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
I think so. But like, imagine trying to do Exam C on a fucking trackball.
You're saying Exam C as in?
It was the name of one of the levels that had really narrow paths.
Like, are you good enough that you can like there's that level in like normal mode, like not beginner, not expert, but the middle one where there's like a bunch of different lines and they're like ordered by width.
One?
They're ordered by, I think it's the guitar one. They're ordered by width.
Back in my prime, I could get halfway.
Okay, because there's the one that's like 0.01 or whatever. Then it's like a bunch of fucking bananas on it. I'm just like, I would love to know how you do that.
Clench.
If only you could use the butt plug to do that.
I just want to say right now that I'm really struggling to make this convo about me.
Let us geek out about Monkey Ball for a minute, Ritz.
It's been a minute.
At some point, Domino and I'll have to rent out one of those fucking aquatic inflatable courses. You know the ones I'm talking about.
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
They're like bounce castles, but like you float them on water, and they're like an obstacle course.
Yeah.
And we have to go at them with like those giant inflatable hamster balls.
Okay.
Like that is like if we somehow get to a point where we have like a budget and we can do shit like that.
Imagine. Wow, there's interesting.
Monkey Ball.
Anyway, as far as the soundtrack
Ritz,
goes,
have we convinced you to play Monkey Ball yet?
I want to play it. I just didn't want to spend a bunch of money on something I didn't have the time to play.
Hold up. Is it on sale right now? I'll buy
Yes.
it for you.
On Steam. Yeah.
Yes, I'm checking on Steam right now.
Yeah, I think Banana Mania is like $12 Australian. So that's probably like 5 cents US.
Let's see here. Fucking search up on Steam. There we go. Oh shit. Oh, it's $7.49.
Incredible.
I'm buying this for you now, Ritz.
Damn, are we just like a buy
And
stuff
fuck
on
it,
the
I'm buying you
podcast?
the digital deluxe edition.
Oh shit! And you get a car. And you get a car.
it's like that one time I bought that CD.
Trix's Oprah Winfrey moment.
And I bought Lousy with Sylvian Breyer on the
You
podcast.
did. That's right.
I would have bought something on the podcast, I swear.
You probably bought tickets or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Select gift recipient Ritalin for kids.
I need to buy more
Happy.
tickets. Oh, I'm seeing Crywank this week.
Oh wow. Good luck.
Here we go. That's what I want
It's-
to name.
It's got like a hell of a fucking lineup, which is because of how wild the sound is. Because obviously we've covered Crywank. We know what Crywank sounds like. But the opener is a noise set, and that's the one I think I've mentioned beforehand, where she in the video I've seen, she has a field mic and puts a vibrator up to it, and then there's like a hardcore set where the time I saw them, they didn't have their vocalist because she was out sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an open mic hardcore set, and then it's just indie rock after it, and then Crywank. Like that's just
The
a
Ritz-
really funny lineup.
I
it is
bought you
comfort.
it.
Yeah, I see it. Decline gift, wedding gift, incredible.
Now, the other thing to talk about is that other than Bit Trip, there is another sort of it's kind of a successor. I mean, there's multiple things you can say are a successor. But you ever heard of the game Thumper?
No, I have not.
It's a rhythm game. It's another one that you can play in VR if you wish. Came out in like 2016. But this is interesting to you. It's made by Brian Gibson of Lightning Bolt.
Okay.
Oh,
So that may be something to check out in the future.
Yes.
Oh, is that Exam C?
Yes.
Oh no, that's the one I crashed out on the last time I was trying to get through Expert, because I've gotten through that before, goddammit. But the last time I was trying, I couldn't fucking do it.
My skills are so incredibly rusty. I have a hard time with some of the levels now.
It's one of those things like you get the fucking yips after a while of like the first few times you get through it fine, and then if you just keep doing it, your skills just degrade.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying. Anyway, my favorite tracks are the ones from the original game.
Yeah.
I just like the vibe.
I'd like to also give a bonus shout out to the track Storm.
Let me look at the names.
That's
here.
the one with the really prevalent guitar.
Okay, that's the guitar is very Sonic-y.
Yeah.
Jungle Stage, Dinner Stage. Dinner Stage is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, the soup.
Yes. I didn't. Do they show the names in like deluxe and stuff? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, it's I forget the name. Hold up.
Because they don't show the names in Monkey Ball 1. So like
names.
It's amazing how pared down Monkey Ball 1 just is.
I think the name comes from. Yeah, I think the names come from the story mode.
Interesting.
Like the whale stage is called Inside the Whale, Under the Sea for the underwater steampunk level. Theme amusement park for the like really bubbly blue and pink one.
What about the one where you are like following behind the bumpers?
Which one is that?
It's like in the 20s.
Don't remember.
It's like bumpers are going around in a circle. There's two circuits of them, and you got to fit in between them.
I don't remember. I'll be honest.
That's fair.
But there's a bubbly washing machine. Was the washing machine level? Under the ocean, space colony, Dr. Bad Boon's base, volcano.
Let me see.
I'm trying to remember what the actual name for the stew level is.
I think I got it. I think it's Middle Jam.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that looks
That's
like
the
it.
level name?
Yeah.
Don't
21 on Monkey Ball 1. And story mode appears
so
as
that
World
would
510.
Okay, so that would be Sky High maybe or Monkey Ball. They have different on Monkey Ball 1 they have very basic names.
I'm just going to use the term blender for favorite, least favorite.
That's fair.
That's fair.
It's driving me crazy. Oh, Boiling Pot, that's what it's named. That's what the stew level's called. Boiling Pot. I just fucking love Monkey Ball, man.
Monkey Ball's pretty good.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I wish there was a Monkey Ball Smash stage.
God, that actually ripped pretty hard.
I don't know how you do it, but like, it'd be really interesting.
I feel like it'd have to tilt all over the place.
Maybe.
But yeah.
All right, so I guess that's our discussion of the albums this week.
Yeah. We talked video games.
Can we rank these?
Monkey Ball number 1.
Nah, I don't think this is a really rankable week for me because there's an album and then 2 soundtracks. I mean,
fair enough.
I found Rez to be the better soundtrack of the 2.
I like Rez. Then I'll put Shady Nasty number 2, Monkey Ball 3, just because it has to be.
I'll go Shady Nasty. At number 3, Rez, and then Monkey Ball.
I guess I had to put Monkey Ball at 3. Doing Rez and Shady Nasty is kind of like a weird one, but I personally would go Shady Nasty as number 1. But that's just a real, like, I have a lot more bias towards that one.
Sure.
So this is a week that I feel like is fully controlled by bias.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's really a bad thing.
The non-standard week, you know, it's trying to get the mind going again.
Yeah.
So what are we doing for next week?
Okay. What do you two feel like now? Because I said I was going to do the 3 albums week by week into it, and it was going by the genre. Do you feel like math rock or do we feel like slowcore?
I think slowcore.
Yeah, slowcore.
We're doing Trine's New Old Horse.
Okay.
What is this?
Getting the album
You're
link
getting the
in
thing.
chat right now. Yep,
Yes.
Trine New Old Horse.
Twine New Old Horse. All right.
This is a December 6th album, so it is 2025 cycle.
Yeah.
Circle as well. It's also a circle. Why not?
Fair enough. I'd like to go last.
Okay, I think you said what you were doing last week. Is that not true anymore?
It has changed.
Okay.
That's the Trix way.
I'm paying off on an old bit.
You're paying off on an old bit. All right. Well, that's fine. Let me just get up Spotify here to get this ready to
I'm
post.
already prepping for Trix to pick 100 Shaky Graves songs.
You would be correct, actually.
Yeah.
So for me, I decided to keep things pretty light, pretty breezy. One thing I'd like to do this year, we're far removed now from our original starting point in 2019. And since we started 2019 in the middle of the year, towards the second half of the year, we never really gave it a good shake, I don't think. So I kind of want
to... We definitely didn't. We had to do a specialized 2019 episode every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I would like to do some more 2019 albums that we missed over time this year. Nothing crazy, nothing like the Radiohead shit from last year, but I just want to, do a little more focus on that as we continue on. With that in mind, for this time around, I'm picking 2019 album, the King Gizzard album we didn't get to, Fishing for Fishies.
Okay.
Yeah. That is a surprise pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
But a welcome one.
And as Ritz already guessed, I'm doing Shaky Graves.
Oh, yes.
But do you remember one of the options I gave for future Shaky Grave albums?
No.
Of course not.
Well, I mentioned at one point that we might get into fan albums.
Oh, God.
And we're doing just that. Shaky Graves, the live album we all deserve.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yep. An hour and 14 minutes.
Yep.
Singing as a live album we all deserve. All right, this is your pick, okay?
Yes.
All right, so that leaves us now. Ritz, you've chosen Twine's album New Old Horse. I've chosen the King Gizzard album Fishing for Fishies, and Trix, you chose a fan album for Shaky Graves called the live album we all deserve.
Indeed.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, check that out next time we come back. My name is Dominic. You can catch me online somewhere. Dissonant Waves is on stuff. We have like a Blue Sky. I think our Twitter still exists. I don't know.
Yeah.
There'll be links in the description below.
I've been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalin4kids.github.io. You most likely going to catch me at a gig in any place else, especially if you're in Sydney.
I've been Trix. For $500 on our Patreon, you can control the butt plug during an episode.
It's not a live episode, so you're going to have to really time it well. Or
we'll just let you know when we're recording at 3 a.m. my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a Patreon subscriber. Yeah.
No, actually, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pay the money so that I can do it while we're recording.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable with the idea of us controlling butt plugs with the other members whilst recording an episode, but I'm not against it.
Imagine if I was controlling both of you at the same time.
Hold on. I didn't agree to this just yet.
That's for $1,000.
No. There's a bit of a saver deal happening on that.
The apps for those have a touchscreen functionality. I just use my finger to just go.
And there's also like an app that you can use to like make music on your phone, like doing that exact same type of control. So I think what you should do is you should get one phone with that app and the other one with the butt plug controls, and you have to do the same motions on both of them, so it is vibrating through the music you're creating. And that is what Rez wanted.
You know that the apps just do that now, right?
It's what Rez wanted.
It is what Rez was trying to be this whole time.
Yes.
And my only fear is that you're going to cause me to shit on episode.
That loose, eh?
Yeah, sometimes.
Fair enough.
I'm sure you wouldn't be the first one. And with that, that's going to do it for us. Have a wonderful morning, noon, night, afternoon, evening, dusk, dawn, midnight, whatever you got going on. Make it yours and enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Indeed.